earlier this year, we were approached by the production team of the Rob and Romes Versus, actually shows in one of the biggest pay TV broadcasters there. And they also wanted to feature movement training on this channel.
Of course, we went to the Las Vegas, one of the craziest places I've been. There's almost nothing like this. One of the most hyper stimulating places you can go.
And my eyes were like, what? You can lose your sense of time, the money, and sense of yourself. You can
because in the beginning, it was one of the rare moments I was getting a little bit scared.
Yeah,
because
we were right next to the stage, first row, and in the center of the stage, just okay, here's the guy talking to us.
Elon Musk, he said in his Joe Rogan podcast that real life feels boring after the sphere.
I had not researched LA. I just knew that, okay, they have a homeless problem, dirty streets.
And dangerous.
Yeah, and
because what you see on social media, it's not the reality. It's always the extreme version of the reality and always a manipulated version of reality.
And I was like, okay, just take away the syrup. I'll just have the pure, fresh, actually fruit. Once I got it, it's like this pale, almost colorless drink that tasted almost like nothing. I wasn't even sure what I was drinking because it didn't have the syrup.
Super sinister. Actually, the one person died.
Maybe two even.
Yeah, two. Yeah, because I think they even display the dead people. They are proud that somebody died.
In that case, any burger you don't finish, you will get spanked. I was like, oh because sorry, I can't finish this burger. If this place causes divorces, you want to go and see those strippers. And if this place gives you a heart attack, you want to go and taste that burger because it has to be so extreme.
During this long ride, I was talking with the driver. Why is the food not as good here as, let's say, in Europe or Italy or something like this? And the driver agreed, and he said that also
if you find something from the store and they've added the color, they've added the taste, added the consistency to it, I would be very suspicious. So we recently had this trip to the United States of America, and for me it was the very first time that I have visited America ever. For Samuli it was the third time already, but so that was quite the experience, quite a trip. We were in two different places, in LA and also Las Vegas. And how this trip actually even got started was that earlier this year we were approached by the production team of the Rob and Romes Versus. So Rob and Romes Versus, it's actually a British TV show or UK-based TV show. And I had not heard of this show before because it's not like a global show. It's very I learned later that it's really popular in the UK. So it can have 10 million views there because it actually shows in one of the biggest, or it's actually the biggest pay TV broadcasters there, the Sky TV, and it's going to be on Sky Max. But so this was the opportunity that we would go there. They wanted to film an episode because usually this episode they contain the two comedians, Rob and Romes, and they will kind of go and throw themselves into different type of sports, different worlds like boxing or strongman training or football training, even sprinting training. So they will try these different sports and then see how they can do it, how they can maybe train with it, and then they have some challenges in the end of those episodes. And this time their theme was the UFC and mixed martial arts, so MMA. And they were going into Las Vegas because there was the International Fight Week, there was the big UFC event, and they also wanted to feature movement training on this channel because they have seen that, okay, a lot of fighters are nowadays incorporating movement training. And they knew that, for example, I was training with also Jiri Prohaska, and so they wanted to have this featured also on this channel. And there was, for example, they already had Michael Bisping and Leon Edwards were in this show as well. So this was an interesting opportunity, and we were okay, we could probably go to Las Vegas and see what's up, what's going to happen there.
Yeah, and I think the whole the movement class and the filming went really well. I think. I know that Romesh, one of the comedians, he even bought the Movement 20XX method after the session because he was really surprised with the effects and the benefits and everything he felt during the class, because I think the whole class, it took almost 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So it started with some structural training and mobility training, and then there was the movement teaching part, and then in the end there was the challenge.
Yeah, because I want to also give them a little bit broader idea, not just do a few animal movements, but we were discussing, okay, it's good to also show some like preparation, some mobility exercises that they actually are, and also warm up exercises, because when they were doing the movement training for the very first time in their lives. I think that's why it was so interesting also to follow these guys, because like they had really like zero experience of this type of training. So almost everything that I showed them was new. Also the beginning and the mobility stuff, they were like, what is this? And there were some like things to, for example, open up their hamstrings that they have never tried, to work on the hip mobility, and then the movement training. And yeah, like I was really that was kind of for me, because you think, okay, am I doing well? You always can't be so sure. Of course, I know that I know what I'm doing and I'm teaching these guys, but I think the reaction of them, that was really like for me encouraging, especially like you said, Romesh, like he was immediately asking like, where can I learn more? Like I want to do an entire like a routine with this type of training. So that was really fun, and he's been like even sending me messages after we left the Las Vegas. He's sometimes like a reporting of the movement 20XX and asking some tips for the movements. So that was really cool thing, and overall in general, like you said, the whole filming experience, I think was very professional.
And it was, I think, over 20 people. Like it was like a massive,
something like that. It was
like a massive film crew, like, and some like a supportive staff as well, like just bringing some snacks and other stuff. But I know like even the director and the other guys in the audience, they were like, wow, this is very good stuff. So this is kind of showing that it's still like most people don't even know about this.
Yeah.
But once they actually see it and experience it in one way or another, they are like, wow, this is actually very good. So I think in that way, I think the movement training has a lot more potential than it had already showed. Yeah. Because it can become much more popular among gyms, because I think it's still like a niche thing. But actually most things we do is niche. Like we don't do the mainstream stuff. Almost everything we do is kind of niche. Yeah. But it's the niche stuff usually works, and at some point they become the mainstream.
True, and like even though you can say that within the last 10 years, the movement training has become much more popular, and there are quite many. You can find many teachers, much more teachers than back in the day. It was just like us, and Eero Portal was at one point also. But now it has grown in popularity. But still, like there's still so many people who like it's a foreign way of training, and they're like, what is this? And even among UFC fighters, I think there's, even though it's some people do it, there's a lot of fighters who just do their jumping squats, back squats, deadlifts, presses, like so basic training.
And I think that's for many athletes that's a mistake, especially with the weights. Like if you do the heavy bench press and heavy other lifts, I think it has like a detrimental effect on their performance actually.
Yeah, I think most cases, a certain level of basic strength in those is very good, but like keeping on continuously like doing those year after year, just like doing bench press and stuff, I think it's a big waste of time.
Yeah, like
these people are not optimizing like their time usage as professional fighters.
Yeah, and the marginal benefits of doing like the bench press year after year is like minimal. Like you are not getting almost any benefits in the gauge anymore.
Yeah. Yep. And these people keep doing this stuff, and they might even have shoulder problems. They might even have an injured shoulder, and they still like, okay, I gotta do this stuff. It's ridiculous. You could be doing like 100 different type of exercises instead of bench press to work on your shoulders or chest or whatever, like. And that would be also more transferable, would give you the mobility, would give you flexibility, would give you control, would give you pliability to actually really throw better punches, for instance.
Yeah, and I think, like, for example, John Jones, he started doing the heavy lifting and like super heavy powerlifting maybe like 4 years ago or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And every year since, his like performance has declined, apart from the zero gain fight. Like every year it has been like he has almost lost every fight after that, except for the
close fight.
Yeah, very close
gain,
fight. Yeah. Zero gain was like a complete dominance, but apart from that, he has been like declining every year. And I think just going super heavy with the lifts has been one of those mistakes, and that's also one of the reasons why he probably tore the pec as well, because he had the pectoral tear.
Oh, yeah.
So he was lifting super heavy with bench press, and then he goes wrestling. Of course, like if it's like a already damaged muscle because of the bench press, and then you do like some super explosive or super strong wrestling like movements, then it can be like a very bad for the muscles. So he actually got weaker because of the heavy lifting, I think.
Yeah, that's a big sign. I mean, but this is what I was saying about the fact that you can have pretty major issues in your body, and you can even feel like it's not feeling good or something, and you still feel like you're forced to go and do this specific exercise and the training. I think this is one of it's not the exercises themselves really, it's the entire method and the approach that they're using in this kind of a powerlifting style where you have to work on these movements, you have to get stronger in these specific movements, and you never ask why or what's actually the real benefit from doing it, but you just have to do it despite it wrecking your body. And I think this is probably the symptom from it, because you're just doing it even though your body is showing symptoms like wear and tear or some kind of overstressing of certain areas, and then something just happens. It's like the obsession over these movements.
Yeah, but if we go back to the USA part, like I think because we were filming in Las Vegas, and I think the place where we were filming, it was like a golf resort, like kind of far from the strip, from the Las Vegas strip. So it was like an extremely beautiful area, like some of the most beautiful scenery I've seen in a while.
Oh yeah, because we were thinking about the location, the filming location beforehand. Because the thing is, I knew that Las Vegas was going to be hot, or like really warm. I didn't expect it to be like Dubai hot level, pretty much.
Hotter.
Yeah, even hotter, and also not as humid, but still there was humidity level there.
Yeah, but it's still more dry because people don't know that, like this Gulf region here, like the Red Sea, or what is it? Red Sea? No, Gulf Sea.
Yeah,
Gulf Sea.
Arabian Peninsula. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, like this is the most humid area during summer in the world.
Globally, the most
globally, one of the most humid. So people think like desert is like just gray and dry area, but in reality, like during the summer months, this is the most humid area, and the sea is the hottest sea in the world.
Yeah, sometimes when you step out, you can like swim in the air.
Yeah, it's like a steam room.
Yeah. But the point was that because the weather was so hot, we wanted to film outside, and there was this amazing, like gorgeous location, like at this golf club. There was a lake there, like really beautiful greenery and trees and all this, like palms. Looks kind of like tropical, but it was just too hot to stay outside. But luckily, in this location, there was also like this. I guess it's called like a banquet hall or something, which I think it was also really nice. And there was the windows were there, so we were able to film in this location, because I think if we just were in a basic gym or something, I think it would have been just too maybe dim, dark, and a little bit boring. So luckily we also got good location in just addition to the shooting going well.
Yeah, and after the shooting, of course, we went to the Las Vegas, like the strip. We stayed in the Venetian hotel, and it was like one of the craziest places I've been. Like there's almost nothing like this in the world. Like maybe in China or like in Macau, they have the casino area, which is almost like a copy of Las Vegas. But other than that, it's like one of the most like hyper stimulating places you can go. Like it's just insane.
Yeah, the first night that we got in there, and we went like, because it's in the like, how is it, like the downstairs of the I don't know, but it's in the down, like the floor, or the first floor is the whole casino area, and you just like walk there, and there's like endless amounts, like endless. You can see the machines, like
slot
machines, like rows after rows, and just people in them, and bling 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 bling, lights like this everywhere. You hear the sounds, and my eyes were like this way the whole time, like what?
And then this music and so many people, like just people walking everywhere. And the crazy thing about the whole casino experience is that there's almost no difference between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Because one night we were like walking 6 p.m. like in the casino, and then next day we had to wake up early to go to the breakfast and then leave the Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So we were walking 6 a.m. and it looked almost exactly the same.
Because there's no window. That's the reason, right? That you can't even know which time of the day it is, and I suppose that's the idea. You know, you can lose your sense of time, sense of your maybe money, sense of yourself. You can
because I think in many casinos they give you free drinks.
Yeah.
So they actually want you to get drunk. So because when you're drunk, then you spend a lot more and lose a lot more.
Yeah, we didn't try this, but yeah, I heard also that if you just keep, give some tip to the waiter, she will just keep bringing you free drinks if you're like playing there. And so the most overwhelming environment probably that I've ever been to. But it was really like, I like that. I think as an experience that was really cool. It felt like sometimes, you also see those people who like cigar and like some glasses and some weird dresses. It's like they are like in a movie. It's like from a movie, something like this.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, cartoon. Yeah, very like these characters. And I think it's very, very enjoyable and it's very entertaining, really entertaining to do that. Not maybe in the long term, I wouldn't want to stay there, but just as an experience like that, I think it was nice.
For like 3-4 days, it's like a amazing experience.
Yeah.
Just to see like what's happening and then go enjoy a little bit of the entertainment as well.
Yeah. We saw the David Copperfield, the magician.
Yeah, it was actually a very interesting show. Like the David Copperfield, like I think he's the richest magician ever. Like he's a billionaire, I think.
Yeah.
Like net worth, and he has been doing shows like for 30-40 years, and he still does like I think over 300 shows per year.
That's insane.
So like I think he does like 2 shows every day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And how old was he?
I think he's 70 now.
Yeah, he didn't look like 70. I think.
No, I think he
dyes his hair and
I think in Las Vegas people do like different. Yeah, they do some plastic surgery, magic and stuff like this. But the show itself was it had some like next level technology, and also it was one of like in the beginning it was one of the rare moments I was like getting a little bit scared.
Yeah,
because you don't know what's happening. It's like so confusing in the beginning because it's like stuff is just happening and then he's talking to you, then suddenly he's talking to you, and then I have to do something and then somebody else has to do something, and then it's like you kind of lose a sense of reality maybe a little bit, and then it's like he just controls the entire room and everything so well that you kind of get scared, like you are not in control anymore and you don't know what's happening.
So that's the thing, like. Because for me, I thought it's like this really modern, some high-tech stuff. People are sitting there, no one is bothered with anything, and he is there somewhere far in the what is the theater, the stage, and doing his things. And it couldn't have been the furthest from the reality. This was the most involving show ever. Like everyone was actually involving in it in some way or other. But for example, Samuli was involved a bit more. Like you actually went to the stage at some point, and like we were right next to the stage. We were the first, like the table right in the first row and in the center of the stage, just like, okay, here's the guy talking to us.
Yeah, because I got the tickets like I think 3 weeks before earlier, so I was able to get the best tickets.
Yeah. So that was like, it was an experience that also like blew my mind, like just how intimate it was. It was not distant at all. It was intimate, and I think that was the scary part of it, because it was like so close, and like you're also really, you feel like you are part of the show, and that's, I think that's part of the magic there. Like you have to involve the audience, because then it feels more real as well, and you're like, like for example, okay, you keep some kind of card or you chose the numbers and stuff like that. So I think it increases that sort of, illusion or magic, whichever you want to say it. But
yeah, but I think I was able to figure out at least half of the tricks.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, I was like just able to think like maybe there's some, I'm not going to spoil, but still.
Yeah.
But it's still, like something you're not sure what's happening. Yeah.
Well, nowadays, I mean, you can pretty much Google most of the stuff as well.
Yeah,
And,
that's disappointing as well.
yeah, and some of the tricks he's done, he has even, I think, like by himself revealed.
Yeah, because
like,
he had the investigation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So he had to reveal some of the secrets, how he like teleports people and stuff like
yeah,
this.
and other stuff like that. But yeah, totally unexpected experience, and I'm glad that Samuli booked it because I wasn't that like sure if I would be entertained, but it was really like quite cool.
And then we went to this sphere as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, the sphere is like this massive, like it's kind of like a movie theater, but it's like a multi-dimensional, and the resolution is like the highest like that I've ever seen anywhere.
I think it's the highest in the world. At least
the highest in the world, because the whole movie theater cost like $2.2 billion.
Yeah.
Like it's, imagine like in Dubai, Burj Khalifa cost $1 billion. So this movie theater cost $2.2 billion.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have we have 4K, and then there's some 8K maybe also, but this theater was 16K, so that is like the highest number of the whatever that means, the resolution in any place, and you could like just see it when you were like, because it's hard to really realize how big and massive the screen was, because it covers everything. Like you can watch up, you can watch side, you can watch anywhere, and you will see the screen because it's like a dome, like a sphere shaped screen. And to have that big of a screen with that accuracy, it's insane. Like you would think that it's like really like this pixelated stuff that you would see.
And I think Elon Musk, he said that in his Joe Rogan podcast that real life feels boring after the sphere.
Okay, that's
But yeah, maybe I don't agree with that, but it's still
either,
but it's still like very impressive. And we saw the main show over there, like the postcard from Earth, and the funny thing about the show was that it was like, as an outsider, it was like complete propaganda show. Like it was like everything about it. It was very beautiful and very, very like entertaining, but it was like, because I used to live in China, so I know what propaganda is, and we have been to Russia and also many other countries, so we know what propaganda is. And then we went to this sphere, and I didn't expect to see like equal level propaganda.
Yeah, it was this type of like environmental, human is like bad. Every industry is bad, and human destroys the nature, and we
also
destroy the planet, and the apocalypse is coming, and
also that USA is the most advanced nation.
Oh yeah,
which like USA in some aspects is at the top, but it's like USA is not the most advanced nation. Like if you go Asia, if you go like UAE, if you go even like many European countries, like USA is actually a bit behind. But in this movie, it was like the USA is the number one.
Yeah, and you could say like of some parts of it, there's truth to it. For example, the environmental problems and all that. But I think in this case, it was just so black and white. It was like really, really like they make it like for a kid.
Yeah,
this is bad. This is good.
Yeah, and also try to make it super emotional.
Yeah.
Like after that, you're like, now I'm gonna get the Tesla.
Oh yeah, that makes sense now why Elon Musk said.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the Elon Musk.
Oh yeah.
Promoting.
No, yeah, but
it was still like amazing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you just don't mind the story so much, the visuals, you can just enjoy the visuals.
And I think they have some other shows and maybe UFC at some point as well. So.
Yep, and for me, it's not only it's actually both the outside and the inside of the sphere for me were equally like entertaining or impressive. Maybe I even liked more the outside to an extent.
Yeah.
It's incredible. You have a building and you could just be like staring and be like, what? Because they have, it's constant animation rolling onto that. So it's just like, for those who don't know, it's like this half ball shaped building, and all around 360, it's just like a screen. Or I don't know if it's screen, but it's something that you can play anything. You can play a movie, you can play animations, whatever you can show and display on that sphere. And they are displaying these amazing like geometric shapes and all kind of lights and sometimes some cartoonish stuff. and of course ads, and also like this way, and like you could just be staring at that for like a couple of hours and you get a great show.
Yeah, and before we went to Las Vegas, we were in California. We were actually in the Woodland Hills. We got like a nice villa, peaceful villa, and then we just stayed in the mountains and went to some nice places. But after Las Vegas, we also went to Las Vegas. No, not Las Vegas, but after Las Vegas, we went to Los Angeles.
Yeah,
And
so
then
we were before and after Las Vegas. We were in Los Angeles.
Yeah, in Los Angeles and in California. And I think like California was actually surprising how beautiful it was, and the weather was like, at least at the time, it was amazing. And just mountains and beach and the nature, it was like a very amazing place.
Yeah, this was totally, again, because I had the idea of California and Los Angeles, like, because many people bring out the problems there. I had not like researched LA at all. I just knew that, okay, they have a homeless problem and like some like dirty streets and stuff like that. That's what.
And dangerous.
Yeah, and it's really dangerous. And I experienced almost none of that. Like we saw some maybe shady parts, but quite a little. So I was surprised in that sense as well. And the most surprising, because we also lived, like you said, in the Woodland Hills, so that's a little bit further away. It's like kind of like you have the beach and the center, and then there's like this area filled with mountains, and then it's behind that. But it's still like part of LA, and there's, it's not like that far away, but it is separated by this mountains, and it's called, this area where the Woodland Hills, it's called the Valley, because I think it's like between like a couple of mountain ranges. And that just alone, I was like, what? This place is filled with like nature. The weather is really like nice. Like it felt like kind of like this very, I don't know, idyllic to me. And it was craziest thing that behind the villa that we were, there was a farm. It was not a countryside, but there was a farm. I think it was for some
university.
Yeah, for like what are the
veterinary.
Yeah, the ones like the animal doctors. I don't know.
Yeah,
I forgot what they're called.
Yeah, they like study some like cows and
yeah,
like other farm animals.
Yeah, but it looked like just like a regular farm. It was super interesting. Like it felt like you were in this. It is like an old America or something like this, prairie but it was just amazing, and I was totally surprised and blown away by this. And the fact that just there's so much nature and so much hiking trails that you can go to, so that was quite amazing. But of course, we also went to the more touristic and well-known places as well there.
Yeah, my first my expectation was also totally different because what you see on social media is like it's not the reality. It's always the extreme version of the reality, and always like a manipulated version of reality. Of course, the problems exist, but it's only one part of the reality. And only a small part of the reality, and that's why whether you go any country, like the impression you get from social media is usually totally different from the actual reality. Like people don't even have any idea how China actually is.
Yeah.
Like I didn't my expectation of China was like a completely different before I actually lived there and moved there for 1 year. And the same with many other countries. And the same with like people have some ideas about many different places and countries, but if it's only based on social media, it's usually very false. Mm-hmm. And we had the same experience with the USA as well.
Oh yeah, totally. Exactly like that. And that's kind of like scary to think sometimes, how many prejudices or this like kind of like predetermined ideas people have of different places, because they might not hold true at all. So you need to be very careful of the image you have of a country if you haven't actually visited it. So in that sense, I think US was a very pleasant surprise. And like someone said, yes, there are like the streets where you have these issues, but there was also a huge amount of areas where I didn't see none of these issues, and we're really like in a good shape, and also I'd say even comfortable to live. I mean, California was the place where I felt like I could have even stayed a longer time just to explore it. But maybe the a little bit unpleasant surprise was the food and not just in Los Angeles, but in Las Vegas as well. And I'm not sure, that may not give the whole picture of the entire United States, and I know that there are also you can get good food, but I think that I don't want to make too broad assumptions, but as a general still rule, I feel like the food quality and the taste of the food was not something that was very pleasant for me.
Yeah, I think the big shock, at least for you, was the fresh juice and the smoothies.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's true, because in Dubai you can get, like, if you go and you buy a smoothie or you buy juice, it's juice. You have a juice, you press it, that's it. You get the pure stuff. And when I went to get, like, it was in the mall, and I was like, I was thirsty, and I went to get like a smoothie from this place, and it was like mango and peach. And I was like, is this just fruit? And she said, like, yeah, it's fruit, and there's like syrup. And I was like, okay, just take away the syrup. I'll just have the pure, like, fresh, actually fruit. And once I got it, it's like this pale, like almost colorless, like kind of like milk-colored drink that tasted almost like nothing. I was like, what am I drinking? I was like, what? Like, is this milk? Can I sense a glimpse of peach? I wasn't even sure what I was drinking, because it didn't have the syrup. So what I find out that it's very difficult. And this same happened to me when we were going to Las Vegas, and there was in the midway, it's like 4-hour trip. So after 2 hours,
like stopover place.
There was a stopover place in the place called I forgot, Barstow, yeah. And then it's like a place where you can buy souvenirs and candies and stuff. And there's different food points there. In one of them, it says up like real juices or like real fruits. That's what it said there. I was like, oh yeah, this will be cool. I'm a little bit thirsty. Get some refreshment, and I go and ask, what's in the, because I don't know. Like, I have to ask. I need to ask what is in the juice, and this is like, there's some ice, sugar, syrup. And I was like, so where's the fruit? And there was no fruit.
Yeah,
no
and it said like a 100% like
said
real fruit.
Up like real fruit. I was like, and then she was like, we used to have it, but not anymore.
And then some another place I asked, do you have like a fresh juice?
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, we have this. Then she brings me the juice, and I'm like, okay, this is like a very old, like a bottled juice. Like, this is not fresh, actually.
Yeah. There was there's one place where there was at least orange juice, which is kind of a random place also. But still,
of course you can find it, but in general, it's not like everywhere.
That's the thing. You can find everything. I think you can find really good quality stuff, good quality meats, fruits, and everything. But it's not easy. Like, you really need to know, like, places. You need to be familiar. Like, you need to be local to understand where you can get the stuff. If you come to Dubai, just walk in whatever mall. You can get fresh orange juice from almost any cafe.
And the same in Finland as well.
Yeah, actually,
in many European cities, like capital cities as well. Like, you can find everywhere.
You can, yeah.
And especially, at least, Scandinavia is also super like health conscious. So you can actually get like healthy food and fresh food and freshly squeezed juice like almost anywhere. Yeah,
this was actually a surprise, because I visited before I went to the US, Samuli as well. We were in Finland visiting our parents, and I also visited my little brother. He's like, 25, 26 now, but so not so little, but still. I visited him in this smaller town, like up north and towards the east. It's called Savonlinna. And I was really surprised, even in like this town. I mean, it's very bustling town in the summertime. It's beautiful and all, but there you can get from anywhere. You can get, for example, gluten-free. It doesn't matter which restaurant you go. You get a gluten-free burger, gluten-free pancakes. You can get like all of this stuff. I was really surprised, because it's a smaller town. Like, how do everyone here is like these options to get like for example, even for these special diets? I was completely surprised. And going back to the US, I feel like it was really, like I said, it's just difficult. It's like you really need to do a lot of research to find something.
And not only difficult, you have to be very conscious about and cautious what you eat, because a lot of these like food chemicals and all this stuff they have in USA, they're actually banned in Europe and in many other countries. So it can be really unhealthy actually eat some random food in USA if you're not sure what you eat. And actually what actually really infuriates me and makes me a little bit angry is that in USA they also use food colorings in food. For example, if you buy salmon from the store, it can have food coloring because the actual salmon is so bad quality and so colorless that they add like food coloring to make it look fresh and tasty. And the same goes to like watermelons and some like fruits as well. And these food colorings are actually very bad for your health. And they also, and what really makes me angry is that they really confuse your brain with what is actually good for you, like when you actually see it in like a first hand.
Yeah, I mean, food colorings are really basic stuff even in Europe, but they don't put them in like fresh food. You don't see food colorings in fruits or meats. You see them in processed foods or ultra processed foods, which, you know, I kind of understand that, okay, they are ultra processed foods. They're like this chemical cocktail. So what do you expect? But yeah, I didn't know that they put into like actual like fresh food, this stuff. I didn't even, did you check some labels there or you just like?
No, I saw a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Online, yeah.
That's really nasty stuff. But that's the thing. Look, like I started to like focus on these additives and e-codes, 15 years ago already. I was like, I got my first kind of wake up, and some of that I think is unfounded to an extent. Not all. You can like mark any food ingredient, for example, e-code. Even ascorbic acid, like C vitamin, is sometimes e-code. Citric acid can be e-code. I don't think those are too bad. But most of the time, when people put an e-code, it can be like an actual chemical. It can be like a color that can cause like this
cancer.
Cancer, but the attention
deficit disorder.
Yeah, in attention deficit disorders in kids, it can cause some skin rashes and stuff like that. And so, but when I first found out about this, because I had skin issues when I was a teenager, like real bad kind of like these rashes and redness, and even today I have like sensitive skin that kind of reacts very easily to what I'm eating. But I had this like a wake up call. Then I suddenly started to check the labels, and I was like, "What is this?" Like e-codes were in almost every food item I was eating. And or any kind of like bread you're eating, if you eat some ice cream, if you eat some cookies, if you eat some cereals, because this was stuff, basic stuff that you eat. And I was like, what are these e-codes here? Like they're everywhere. I was like, I found out the conspiracy behind everything. This was my idea behind it. But so the point is not all of it was maybe valid, the kind of fear, but some of it was, because the more something usually contains e-codes, the more processed it is, and usually it correlates with whether it's unhealthy or not, or whether it's really causing inflammation, whether it actually stresses your body. So if it has a huge amount of e-codes, it's usually that this doesn't contain actually like real, I say like real food as opposed to artificial food. So like you said, okay, they add a color. Like if you find something from the store and they've added the color, they've added the taste, they've added the consistency to it, I would be very suspicious. Even if, let's say that, you eat it one time, who cares? It doesn't cause anything. But at least for regular eating, I would never buy that like regularly and eat something like that. And most cases, I avoid it all because I don't feel like I'm missing anything if I don't have that ultra-processed treat or whatever it might be. So, yeah, the chemical addition is one thing, and I think, like you said, US has a lot of this stuff also that are banned in other countries.
And I think USA is also the only country that I know of that has like the high fructose corn syrup instead of sugar. Like in Europe, they always use sugar, and I think in Mexico they also use sugar. But in USA, for some reason, they use the high fructose corn syrup because it's a lot cheaper, I think.
I think at some point it was maybe in Europe as well, but maybe
it was banned.
Maybe I can't say for sure. But yeah, I mean, there's a host of things. But this again, because we weren't eating really like supermarket foods or like this processed food from the supermarket. Really, we went to actually even restaurants. We would try to like find really good restaurants, and we find some.
And because we were in USA, we were really trying to find like a good burger, like hamburgers.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many we had, like maybe 7 or 8 probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Or something like this. And we went to the most famous places like In-N-Out Burger and then some restaurant places. And And what was disappointing is that the burgers just were not at the same level and not as good as in some European countries or in Dubai, like not even close.
Because you had this idea, an image like that USA is like the home of burgers. USA is like known of hamburgers, McDonald's and stuff. But that's the thing; it's known mostly of fast food burgers. It's not that like I just realized actually now it's not known of like this like gourmet like burgers actually.
Like Wagyu burgers or some like a bit like really good like smash burgers.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly known as these like really like fast food chains.
Yeah, I was also thinking.
I
was also thinking like if you really like McDonald's and if you really like Burger King, then you will find like so many equal level restaurants in USA like that have like maybe even a bit better burgers. But for us, because we are kind of like foodies, and especially because we lived in Asia for a long time, and Asians are like the biggest foodies of all people, especially like the Chinese and these people. So you like your standards kind of get higher, and we also like really like burgers that are made of like the high quality ingredients and are really fresh.
Yeah,
and that's not like most burgers you get in USA are not like this. They are more like the McDonald's level, like kind of processed and not so good.
It's good that the thing that you brought that out because it gives a bit of perspective in that you can say that we are spoiled with good food to an extent, and like you can think of it as a negative thing or maybe as a good thing because maybe it's like okay we have higher standards.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing because we just want fresh, high quality ingredients that is healthy.
Yeah.
So we don't want this processed like stuff at all. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like when because there's so many people who love that In-N-Out burger, and to be honest, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but there was nothing special for me to like go back there like time after again and be like, oh, I'm getting the burger. It was just like one time I tasted it, okay burger, but. Nah,
but it was also super cheap. I think it was like 6.9 USD.
It was,
like you cannot. I think in most like Western countries in like Europe, like the more expensive ones, like Germany or Scandinavia or UK or in Dubai, you cannot even find like a good burger for less than $10.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, like I think the cheaper burgers are usually like $10, but in USA you can find like $5 burgers and $6 burgers, and
that can make you already like suspicious. What is in that burger?
Yeah, how it's so cheap. Yeah.
But and the French fries were the worst, maybe the worst I've ever had. At least maybe on second, third place worst French fries I've ever had. So burgers, I'm okay with that, but I can't understand if because I give it the benefit of doubt that maybe some In-N-Outs have better fry. I don't know. Because sometimes it changes. Sometimes even if it's a chain, the quality can change a little bit.
Yeah, even in the same restaurant.
Yeah, even in the same restaurant you can get like... Because even here the French fries quality can change. Sometimes it can be good, sometimes not. Even it's the same restaurant.
Yeah, but if people want to eat the best fries in the world, they should go Asia. Or like Taiwan or China, or these places, because they know how to fry food. Like they are the kings of fry food, so... They know how to make really like a crispy and tasty fries. So.
Yeah, the perfect like way of cooking. Like it's still soft inside, but crispy. That's a rare thing. You would think that you could get like good French fries from almost anywhere, but it doesn't work like that. And the same with these burgers. But we also like we tried like a steakhouse burger, and we also went to Gordon Ramsay burger, 2 different Gordon Ramsay places, and I think in one of them it was the best we had in America.
And it's from UK. It's British restaurant actually.
But it still wasn't like that good because the thing is, I had one of the best burgers ever when I was in Doha, Qatar, in the airport. There's a Gordon Ramsay burger place, and I had there like it was amazing burger. I remember, and even the French fries were like something special. And I thought, maybe it's the same. If you go to the same restaurant, Gordon Ramsay burger, also in Las Vegas, but it wasn't the same. It was like okay again, but
for me it was not actually very good at all.
Yeah, it was not like something again that I was really like enjoying much at all. So begs the question, why was that? For example, why didn't it taste the same? Like it's the same chain like, or the same like a chef also.
And this is not just because of Nevada or because of California. Because I've been 2 times in Florida as well, and to 4 different cities, and I've had this exact same experience there as well. But like you said, of course, if you really know how to make it and really know how to find it, then I think in USA you can find it.
Yeah, I believe so.
But as a general rule, it's hard to find it. Like just wander into different places.
I mean, and we had the most shockingly traumatizing burger experiences ever. For those of you who maybe watched already the US vlog, like we went to this restaurant, the Heart Attack Grill, and the thing is, I went there without knowing anything about it, really.
Yeah, me neither.
You knew, like you said when we were waiting in the line. Okay, first of all, we go in there. We had some recommendation from a friend, and also I had read from online from this restaurant. I just read that it should be good. You should supposed to have good burgers. We go there, we're in line. I'm already checking inside. Like, what is going on? It looks like a crazy people house because they're wearing the hospital robes, and like some kind of mental asylum place from from some horror movie. Even the colors are like kind of like that, and it's like odd. But I'm thinking, okay, you get a good burger, let's go. and then Samuli is telling me when we were waiting there that here, if you don't finish the biggest burger, then you will they will punish you, they will spank you, like the big burger. But what we realized, okay, this comes later, but we go and we get the garments on ourselves. First of all, the man in the counter was really like rude a bit. And he put it on to me like I was like, what's going on? I was like, why am I treated like this way? Where am I going to, like a prison? So we go and sit there, and first we go and order the burger, and I'm like, okay, usually if you order a double burger, like in and out double burger, it's like a basic, you can just eat it like that. So I thought, okay, double should be good burger, good size, we can finish it, no problem with that. And when it's brought to us, it's like massive. It's absolutely massive, like just
5,000 calories. They say.
Yeah, and we didn't know the calorie amount. We didn't know this at all. But Samuli, like you were like for one of the waiters, you were like, "Can you come here?" And you ask about what is the concept, and then the waiter started to explain, that this restaurant was created by a doctor, an actual medical doctor, who wanted to I guess do this experimentation, like show people that fast food is dangerous, and he wanted to punish people who eat too much or take too much food, more food than they can eat. So in that case, any burger you don't finish, you will get spanked. I was like, oh shit, because sorry, but I can't finish this burger. It's like too big, so I don't want to get spanked. But I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's really good burger, so fine, let's go. But when you cut to that, it was like. Because the woman said that this is 5,000 calories, it's made with lard, and it's like the highest calories because of that. And I was like, okay, lard, I like lard, it's probably juicy and all that, but it wasn't. I was like, what kind of lard were you using? Because it was like a dry burger.
Yeah, it was actually the worst burger I've had in years.
Yeah.
And it was, even the bread was super dry and hard. Even the bread is this 1 day or 2 days old bread.
It was. That's why I was like, oh man, it's not that. If it was a really enjoyable burger, like if it actually was good and juicy and delicious tasting, I would be like, okay, maybe I could get spanked because I don't finish it. But I was like, I get zero enjoyment of this burger. I only ate the first the patty part from it. I didn't touch the bread. I didn't touch the tomato. It looked.
Yeah, it didn't look fresh at all.
It didn't look fresh. And so then we were just thinking, plotting, okay, how do we get out of here? Should we just run? Run away? But yeah, in the end, it was just I just told the woman, I can't finish it. It's not that, I'm full, but just it's not a good burger. I can't finish it. And she was like, okay, you come spanking. But I was like, no, thank you. I don't want. Maybe, later I think maybe we're just a little bit stiff people, but at the same time it felt really odd. and to look at the other people who are really enjoying it. They were like,
but for them, it's the whole place is like a comedy fun place. They just go to get spanked.
But for me, maybe because the different culture, it felt like a horror.
It is a bit crazy place,
Yeah.
but I can understand it was very like a funny concept actually.
It was,
but it was kind of very sinister as well, like super sinister, because the one person died in the.
I think it was, or maybe two even.
Yeah, two, and because I think they even display the dead people, like they are proud that somebody died eating the burger. So it's very sinister, and the whole idea is very sinister.
I had to Google this thing afterwards because when I was just sitting there, I was like really thinking, because she didn't explain it directly, but I realized, okay, so wait a minute, this guy is actually like here like super twisted, like. The guy is not like by accident, but he's purposely. The doctor was like purposefully wanting to give people a heart attack because that's what his idea was like. Okay, teaching people about the danger of fast food, and now that I think that it's maybe just it is kind of more like a marketing tactic as well. But it's like really just twisted marketing tactic. But he really like wanted to do that, and people got heart attack there. And at the same time, like they had this 350 or 60 pound. If you weigh 360 pounds, you eat free there because you're so big and you're so close to maybe getting a heart attack. So, just come on in and get it. So it's like it's not a joke. It was like a real thing that he's trying to like kill people with it. But I think that is one part of the American culture where people somehow like that because there was also like the strip club ad where it's like, what was it like? Destroying marriages since
2014,
2012 or something like that. So Americans in Las Vegas, they advertise things with the negative effects because it makes it feel like it's the most effective thing you can get. If this place causes divorces, you want to go and see those strippers. And if this place gives you a heart attack, you want to go and taste that burger because it has to be like so extreme or something like that. So it is like a marketing tactic, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, actually, I remember some other example as well. Like there was some. No, actually, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too grotesque.
Oh.
But there's many examples of this, like promoting the stuff with the super negative outcome.
Yeah.
Because when it produces like the extreme result, then it's like, well, at least it works.
Yeah, exactly.
But
somehow works.
But about the whole food culture and industry, because the first time I was in Florida and I had this long ride from Orlando to St. Petersburg. It was many, many hours, and I took like an Uber because in USA you don't have trains, so you take Uber everywhere. So, but during this long ride, I was talking with the driver that why is the food not as good here as, let's say, in Europe or Italy or something like this. And the driver agreed, and he said that also like because maybe the soil is so damaged or something like this, because many Americans also know it that actually the food, when they come to Europe, is like, how it's so different here. And when they go to Italy, they eat some like cheese and they don't get any like gas from the lactose, and and then they eat lots of pizza and they don't have any the gluten intolerance problems and so on. So why is the food when they eat in USA, they cannot eat any gluten in USA? If they eat cheese, they get gas, and like what's the problem? And the driver was saying that maybe it's because the soil is so damaged, and they use also lots of like these different chemicals and fertilizers in the agriculture.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing because I also researched a little bit about that. Well, first of all, some people talk about soil depletion because usually if you are farming on a piece of field, some crops putting out there, every like certain amount of years you should let the soil recover and you don't plant any crops in it. But what I understood that the big corporations, they don't give the break. They just keep like planting the crops year after year. Like they never let the soil actually rest until it's completely kind of like somehow maybe rooted or there's an erosion, so it's just like worn off. You worn off the fertile ground from it. So and every year, of course, because there then would be like less and less nutrients left. So this might be like part of the issue that you just don't have nutrients. But you mentioned the fertilizer thing, which I learned by researching a bit more that might be a bigger issue, because they have done some studies that actually most of these crop or the fields or the grounds or most of the soil, it has nutrients. There are minerals in it and all that. But when they put on the fertilizers and the chemicals on top of it, it kills the fungus and some bacteria in the soil. And in order for the plants to digest the most amount of or absorb the most amount of minerals and nutrients from the ground, they need fungus. And when you kill all the fungus, now they cannot anymore like take the nutrients from the ground actually. So this is an interesting thing that I read, that it's not necessarily even the depletion of the nutrients from the actual soil, but it's because they kill the funguses. And the same way, your gut bacteria is responsible for the absorbment of gut bacteria and fungus absorbing the nutrients from your gut. So that kind of makes sense that it's maybe in a similar manner.
And actually, I think it's probably also the combination of many different things. It's all the soil erosion, then the fertilizers, and then also all the artificial chemicals and ingredients they use in the food.
Because they add to everything. They add, like you buy the pasta or you buy the bread, and it will have some kind of odd chemical that is banned in the Europe. Like most of the cases. I should have actually, when we went to the stores there, I should have like checked more labels, because that would have been interesting. I always check the labels in anything.
I just remember in Florida, at least, in like a grocery store, almost everything had some like added vitamins. Like you buy some like biscuit, it has like added vitamin like D or something like this.
Yeah, it's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like every cereal lowers your cholesterol. Every cereal is like good for you, like in that sense.
Yeah, but I think we can finish this podcast with that. I think in USA, I think one of the problems is that it's very like a profit first, money first. Whereas if you go, let's say Scandinavia or Finland, it's always like the environment first.
And I cannot say if it's that black and white. Maybe.
It's not as black and white, but it's kind of. Yes.
At least there are some standards. Like regards to it, I think in US there is no limitation to how much you can like.
Or maybe it depends on the state probably.
Yeah,
but of course, the companies they go to the state where is like the best, like the regulations and everything for the business.
And at least I'm not sure again about the situation in Europe, but I know that in US the food industries, like the actual companies, they fund studies. So like they can fund different studies. Yeah, they're lobbying, and this is like a real thing. And like over half of those studies will be like favorable for that industry that lobbied them. And if the studies were not like funded, then only, for example, 9% or something would be favorable for these industries and what they're after. So like it's a serious issue that they are actually lobbying these studies to make it seem like what they're producing is also healthy and what is good. And so that creates an environment, I think, where it's really difficult to trust in what you're eating there. And that makes me a little bit uncomfortable, actually, in regards to just being and living even in the States. So you would really need to research what you're eating, like really well.
Yeah, but that's our experience with the USA, and of course we have a lot more things to say and lots of positive things as well.
Yeah.
But these were some like positive and some negatives as well. Like no place, no country is perfect, and USA is not an exception.
Exactly, pros and cons everywhere. All right, stay strong.